Here we are, the Bias Plus Report, NFL Week 7, 2021. First game up, Thursday night game. Denver Broncos at Cleveland Browns. Bias Plus score of 2.1 favors the Denver Broncos. And again, the Bias Plus score is based on average scores now, so the numbers aren't quite as dramatic looking, but you're looking at them on a per game basis. So on a per game basis, Denver Broncos have been 2.1 turnover differential and net point differential better than the Broncos. I'm sorry, excuse me, than the Browns. So that's what the numbers say, Mr. Dickerson. This is where you get your chance to shout out.
Okay, well, excuse me. I'm going to go with the bias. 2.1 is not a huge number, obviously. Now that we're going to averages, you guys are going to get used to seeing smaller numbers for the biases. But I believe that you just said that the Broncos had the turnover differential in their favor. So even though they will be on the road with the turnover differential in their favor and with Baker Mayfield not able to play, not that I'm saying anything bad about Case Keenum, but let's face it, he's a career backup. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are both injured. Hunt is on the IR. Chubb is not, but he's already been ruled out for this game. I don't know if Jalen Ramsey's going to play or not. Maybe Beckham will be on the same page with Keenum better than he has been with Mayfield. Browns, yeah, when you look at the Browns on paper,
Beckham's hurt too, right? He's questionable.
Who?
Beckham.
Yeah, he got a little something going on too. Of all things, you catch plenty of injuries. You catch more injuries than you catch passes, dude. And I can't blame it all on him. I can't. But he's been back from injury long enough to have some kind of rapport with Baker Mayfield, and it doesn't look like they even know each other. When I look at the passes that get thrown to him, I don't know if it's his route running, or I don't know if it's Baker's anticipation or not being able to read his speed or whatever. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't look good. On paper, the Cleveland Browns look extremely strong, but the only part of their team, now that the starting running backs are hurt, the only part of their team where the names actually match the production is on their defensive line and their pass rush. That's about it. So that being said, if Teddy Two Gloves is close to 100%, because I know he's a little banged up too, but if he can get in there and he can make it through this game, I believe the Broncos will win this game on the road in Cleveland, and those fans are going to have 2 weeks of feeling real, real sad in a row.
2 weeks in a row. All right, Teddy Two Gloves. He likes to call him that. All right, next up, the Washington football team is at the Green Bay Packers. This is an NFC contest, interdivisional. Bias Plus score 10.6 favors the Green Bay Packers.
I'm not going to call these games no-brainers anymore after some of the stuff I saw last week, but the Washington football team is going to be hard-pressed to go up to Lambeau and beat the Packers. Packers got too much offense for them, even if most of it goes through the run game and through Devontae Adams. Aaron Rodgers is feeling real good about himself. The Packers will not be denied in this game. Washington is going to be hard-pressed to even slow them down, let alone stop them. This might be one of the bigger games for Aaron Rodgers. But then again, it may not even be necessary because their run game basically runs on anybody. Take the Packers. This one shouldn't be that big a deal.
You know what's funny? The Washington football team is scoring 22.8 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
Packers only scoring 24. That's like 1.2 point differential in terms of what's scoring. But as much as we've maligned the Packers defense, the Washington defense is ranked 32nd, and the Packers defense is ranked 13th.
And they're playing over their heads because they got a lot of injuries too.
Okay.
So those guys that are actually showing up on the field for the Packers on defense, they're playing over their heads. I'm surprised because I thought they would have a big letdown after some of the injuries they got in their defensive backfield, but they're doing all right. And Washington can't stop a soul.
Speaking of can't stop a soul, Kansas City Chiefs at the Tennessee Titans. Now, you mentioned something that I was thinking. Let me first say that the bias plus score of 0.7 favors the Kansas City Chiefs.
Not 7, but 0.7.
0.7, that's less than 1. That's 70% of 1.
Bruh, I am not feeling the Chiefs right now. I'm really not. Their defense is weak and it looks disheveled, if that's a good word to use. The only guy out there that looks like he really knows what's going on is the doggone honey badger. And he's so busy yelling and screaming at his teammates. On the other hand, Tennessee Titans are coming off a huge win. Sometimes huge wins have a tendency to cause you to have a little bit of a letdown. But how could you possibly have a letdown when you're at home against the Kansas City Chiefs? I think Tennessee puts it together. Derrick Henry has another strong game. They don't get to Tannehill. He puts it up, gets AJ going again, might even hit Julio a couple of times. This is going to be a big win for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, man, that Julio connection. I played the Titans in Madden, and they tightened me up a little bit with that Julio connection. So,
yeah, well, they're Julio really don't have it no more, but
well, on the game he does.
yeah, well, yeah, sure, because he's living off his lifetime.
What was that? Who was that catch on the sideline when it bounced off the helmet? Was that Julio?
I think that was Julio. I think, yeah, the guy defended him really well, and the ball hit his helmet so loud you could audibly hear it over the crowd noise. And he caught that thing. He was ruled out of bounds though, right?
Initially,
No,
but then they came back and said no.
Yes. He got his feet that.
He got his toes
on a ball that bounces. I mean, bounds off of this guy's helmet, and he had the wherewithal to refocus, catch it, and get both feet down. It was still incredible. Still incredible. I think the only thing that's hurting him now is he doesn't get in and out of his breaks like he used to. So his route running is a little bit hampered, but he can still work the sideline, no doubt about it.
Still got some Julio left. All right. And so you're going with
Titans.
All right. Atlanta Falcons at Miami Dolphins. Bias plus score 4.1 favors the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay.
Both teams are in the negative. Let me just mention in terms of net points, Atlanta negative 8.6 and Miami negative 13. So one less negative than the other.
Yeah, both in the negative side, but I'm not going to let that bother me. One team's still better than the other as far as the stats are concerned. 4.1, that's decent. The Falcons have had a good bit of success offensively and have actually played better than I thought they would coming into the season defensively, whereas the Dolphins are almost the opposite on defense. They're playing far worse than I expected them to at the beginning of the season. That being said, even though this game is in Miami, I believe that Matt Ryan will go in there and use his experience to have his way with the Miami defense. Also, again, unsung. This dude's unsung. Cordarrelle Patterson is a problem. Like, this guy, he's so big. You know who he reminds me of, kind of, except for he moves his feet better and runs. He's a better runner. Remember when Brandon Jacobs, the tiptoe bandit I used to call him?
Oh, God.
Brandon Jacobs played for the Giants.
He reminds you of Brandon Jacobs, really?
But except for he don't tiptoe. Cordarrelle Patterson turns it on. But with the size of a running back taking a handoff at that size, that's what reminds me of Brandon Jacobs. Because Brandon Jacobs was a big guy. But the running ability
was a lot thicker.
He was thicker, but Cordarrelle is not small. The difference is Cordarrelle actually gets going. Like, he hits holes. If he goes outside, you can see him forcibly trying to turn the corner. This guy has turned himself, he has redefined himself like for the third time. First he was just a kick returner. Then they turned him into a wide receiver, and now he's a running back. Almost full time. He's the starter. Unbelievable. But yeah, I'm taking the Falcons on this game. No problem.
I am equally amazed at Cordarrelle Patterson. However, I've seen him take a few hits at running back going through the line, and his lankiness seemed to work against him in the way he was getting hit a couple times. So I'm keeping
As it will. As it will.
Okay, there you go. Lankiness. Jets at New England Patriots. Bias plus score of 11 favors the New England Patriots. There's still some teams out there for Mac Jones to be able to come in and say, I think we can handle these guys. But as we have seen now with the Jets quarterback, he's turning it on a little bit, starting to get it together, even though I think he took a step back. Am I correct?
I think he took a little step back in the last game they played before the bye. The game before that, I thought he played well. He wasn't terrible in the game that they lost, but, again, lack of a run game, lack of a viable defense is going to hurt you every time. What makes this game a little bit scary for the Patriots is they're coming off their bye week, the Jets. So they've had extra time to prepare. This will be a little something you might want to put on Robert Saleh's checklist as far as how does a new head coach do in his first game coming off of his first bye week. So keep that in mind, because I know that's your man. You like him.
Former Niner, baby.
Yep, former Niner. But off the top of my head, and this is they're both in the minus, right?
Yeah. Let's
11.
see. Jets are minus 11. They're coming in 30th. The Patriots are minus 0.3. They're
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
And again, the strength of their defense, they're ranked 9th. They're only giving up 21.2 points per game. The Jets are only scoring 13.4 points per game.
I'll tell you the truth. I'm going to take the Patriots, but this could be a trap game for them. They're going to need to be careful in this one. Yeah, they're going to need to be careful in this one. The Jets, if they pull off the upset, I'll be mad I didn't pick them, because it's kind of set up. They're kind of set up for a letdown.
And this is a divisional contest, which we say are always a little strange.
Divisional contest, extra week to prepare, quarterback that actually has the skills to lead his offense to a win, offense going against a bad defense, but that offense is not that strong, basically has a game manager as a quarterback.
You're talking about Patriots versus Jets.
The Patriots versus Jets, that is correct. They got a game manager against a bad Jets defense, but again, a Jets defense that has had an extra week to prepare and is rested. There's a lot of warning signs on this one, but I'm going to stick with the bias, and I'm going to go with the Patriots.
All right, absolutely. Okay, Benny, next up for week 7, the Bias Plus report. Again, you can find the Bias Plus report at the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings page on Facebook and on Twitter. I started an Instagram page, Benny, but I don't know if you heard right now, Facebook's talking about rebranding himself so that all of their different entities fall under some one name.
Really?
Yeah. It kind of reminding the business community of when Google decided to rebrand itself as Alphabet. The funny part is that the Google brand was so strong that nobody knows who Alphabet is. Everybody knows still who Google is.
Oh, wow. Yeah, right. How about that?
You know, and the other funny part is, I know my kids, when we, the parents, got on Facebook, they're like, nah, we're not gonna be on here with y'all. And they left and went to Instagram.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, the separation of the generations there, you know. So I don't know. But let's get back to Panthers coming in, playing your Giants, Bias Plus score of 13.7. Now that's pretty strong, especially if you think about that bias was built up over 6 games. So 6 times 13, 6 times 10 is 60. So you're up relative to about 78, close to 80, favors the Panthers. That's a big time score.
It is.
What do you got?
It is. But I believe that that's been built up over those early weeks when the competition wasn't as tough for the Panthers. I believe that their defense is beginning to struggle because they're not getting the offensive production that they've expected out of Sam Darnold. And I believe that the Giants, although they have not been winning, have showed that they can be formidable at times. They're sticking to their plan. It might not always work and turn into a victory, but they're sticking to their plan. They're running the ball. They're trying to limit Daniel Jones, but they're also letting him open it up every once in a while. Their defense is not playing as well as I expected them to, and as well as I wished that they were. But there's a possibility that they could improve. I'm going to take the Giants. Again, let me remind everybody, this is my squad, and I have gone against them. And when I pick them, I don't think this one's going to be, people might consider this an upset. I think the Giants are better than the Panthers. I think the Giants will beat the Panthers, not handily. It's going to be a good game, but I expect the Giants to come out on top in this one. No, there's no question in my mind the Giants will win this game.
Why does the song "Fool for Love"?
I just got finished saying I'm not taking them because it's my team. I truly believe they will win this game.
Okay.
You don't believe me.
Not at all. But I will say this much. The fact is, we did think the Panthers were going to do much bigger things than what they actually wound up doing. So,
and there's a clear blueprint to beating the Panthers. It's clear. It's crystal clear. Get up in Darnold's job, and he'll give it away.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on Darnold and his jock.
I'm sorry. If I had said that in front of the young guys on my flag team, they'd be like, "Coach, pause."
You know what I mean? Great easy, Coach. All right. This is a contender for intriguing game of the week right here.
A contender, but not the game.
Well, I think this was pretty much it, but then something happened, and I looked at another game, and I was
no.
Wait a minute.
Told me definitively you had picked your intriguing game of the week.
Oh, it was definitive up to the point where I looked at the other game. Then it was no longer definitive.
Oh, man, I was so proud of you. I really was.
Anyway, Cincinnati Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens. Bias plus score of 1.6 favors the Baltimore Ravens. That ain't that big. That's under 18 if you looked at it on the gross scale. Cincinnati playing good ball. Ravens playing good ball. when I look at the numbers, Cincinnati is ranked 8th in average net points, and Baltimore is ranked 6th at 7.8, and Cincinnati 6.2. So you can see how close they are relative to their net points and averages. Cincinnati's ranked 12th on offense. Defensively, the Ravens are ranked 7th. Offensively, the Ravens are also ranked 7th, but defensively, Cincinnati's ranked 5th. So,
whoa. The Bengals are at 5th in points against?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. 18.3 points, 18.5 points per game, sandwiched between Denver and Carolina on average points against.
All right. I just wrote something down. I'm scribbling it out. Trap game for the Ravens. I'm taking the Bengals.
You're taking the Bengals?
I'm taking the Bengals.
Oh my
Bengals gonna go into Baltimore. You can't stop him. Talking about Lamar, you cannot stop him. You can only hope to contain him. But I think the Bengals will contain him enough, and Joe Burrow will have enough success. And the Baltimore Ravens defense is not real great against the run, and Joe Mixon's heating up. I'm going with the Bengals, man. I'm going with the Bengals.
Wow, going with the Bengals.
I'm taking them. That'll be my upset special of the week.
Philadelphia Eagles at Las Vegas Raiders. Bias plus score 3.3 favors the Las Vegas Raiders. Beautiful stadium. Not going to be cold. It is Vegas.
Yeah, this game's a big deal for Eagles fans. There's a lot of trips being sponsored. One's being sponsored, I think, by the radio station, the Fanatic.
Oh, was it IP?
No, not IP. 97.5.
Yeah, the Fanatic. Right.
I mean, IP might be having one too, but I happen to listen to Fanatic right now. And
okay.
They're going to be shuttling a bunch of people out there for this game. It's a game they feel like they can win. It's also Las Vegas. You know, they got a whole bunch of drinking and parties and shows, and they're going to make a whole big weekend out of it. I think that's great. That being said, the Raiders are a nice little favorite here. Looks like a field goal. I think this game will probably come down to just that. Right now, the Raiders offense is head and shoulders above the Eagles offense. But defensively, I believe the Raiders defense is better than the Eagles defense, but not head and shoulders better. The Eagles play hard. They're one of the hardest playing teams out there. I got to give them that. People think because I'm not an Eagles fan, I live in Philadelphia, that I'm some kind of hater or something. I am not, okay? I love Jalen Hurts. I think he's a warrior, like I said earlier. I think the Eagles always play hard. I never see them give up, no matter what the score is. For that reason, I think they're going to come out to Vegas. They're going to believe that they can win this game, and they're going to keep it close. This might be overtime. This might be a game-winning field goal at the end. Could go either way. I am going to go with the bias, and I'm going to take the Raiders. But this could be a really good game.
Going with the Raiders, going with the bias. All right, here we go. Next up, those Detroit Lions at the LA Rams. Goff's going back. Bias plus score 19.9 favors the LA Rams. And the Lions have just been snake bit. So, you know, between that and obvious poor play at times, what do you say?
I say take the Rams on this one. This was pretty easy. The Lions have nothing that could come even close to making them competitive in this game. Jared Goff is probably going to end up being really embarrassed. this one could get extremely ugly. Extremely ugly.
I'm just having a thought here. Is this the first time Goff has to face what's the defensive tackle for the Rams?
Aaron Donald. Oh, yeah, because in practice, they wouldn't let him touch him. And you know what? I've heard a lot of defensive linemen, especially real pass rushers, talk about the frustration of going after their own quarterback in practice and knowing that they can't touch him. He's got the red jersey on, and they're doing all their best moves, and they're beating the guy that's trying to block them. And they're like, oh, man, I got this. And then they can't touch him. Yeah.
Wow.
No red jersey for you today, bud.
No red jersey for you, buddy. Detroit Lions not favored. Rams favored by 19.9 bias plus score. Okay. Houston Texans at the Arizona Cardinals. Bias plus score 29.3 favors the Arizona Cardinals. Again, that's just under 30 times 6 would be about 180. Can Houston do anything with this Cardinals group? And let me ask you a quick question. I know I said when my Niners played them, and I did it virtually, I played them on Madden. One side you had J.J. Watts, the other side you had Chandler Jones. But I think Chandler Jones, is he hurt now? You might know that better than me.
I think he was dinged up last week. He might be okay this week. I have to double check.
Okay, because they just make anything off the edges so difficult with those two guys. And so Houston's going to have to figure out what they're going to do relative to how they're going to attack that defense. What do you have on this?
I mean, I wouldn't use the words figure out. I'm sure they'll come in with a plan, but it's not going to do them any good. The Cardinals are so much better than them in all three phases. I mean, you know, they're pros, they get paid, so they got to show up. But that's all I can say about that. Cardinals all day on this one. Again, could get ugly.
Could get ugly. All right. Well, if you see Kyler Murray in his what kind of pose is that where he's sitting down on the ground? He's got
the Buddha thing or
Buddha
whatever.
thing. Is that what it is? So it's over. Done deal. Chicago Bears. Oh, snap. They got to go down and deal with them Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bias plus score 13 favors the Buccaneers. Justin Fields is getting his chance to taste the NFL for real, for real. But, hey, look.
I'm real disappointed. I'm real disappointed in the Bucs defense, to tell you the truth, because the guys that have been hurt, we're going on weeks now that they've been hurt and they've been replaced by these other guys. And I don't see an uptick in the way that they're actually playing defense. So I'm a little disappointed with that. That being said, this might be a game where a nice conservative, long drive type, game managing type offensive plan for the Chicago Bears could actually be somewhat successful. I don't think they're going to win the game. I'm going to take the Buccaneers with no problem. I'm just saying Justin Fields could see a little bit of success in this game unless Tampa Bay really comes to play against the run. They take the run away, and then the Bears, the wheels will fall off. The Bears will be done. If they run them a little bit, Justin Fields might be able to make some progress. Other than that, no. But take the Bucs all the way, no problem.
What you call a learning experience.
Every game's a learning experience for him now, yes.
This is going to be a big one for Justin Fields, I have a feeling. All right. Indianapolis Colts at San Francisco 49ers. Bias plus score 3.9 favors the Indianapolis Colts. So the Niners are scheduled to play the Colts. And as you know, I try to play the team in Madden. So I try to do a virtual scenario. And my Niners, you know, I run now with Trey Lance. Him and Garoppolo are both rated 74 on the game. So I'm not giving up a whole bunch. But it was a really tough game. And this is the end of the game that I'm just showing you here. So you see 204 yards passing, no touchdowns. Niners came out on top. Benny, this was a double overtime game. This was a double overtime game that I had to stick to my running back or my running game roots. I told you that I was going to move from All Pro to Madden. So I made that move, right? Remember when I said you have to be good enough to beat the cheat? Well, first of all, when the clock is running down on your first overtime and the ball has changed possession already, right? My thought is that you can kick, if it's like 3 seconds left in the overtime and you kick the field goal, you win. That's what my thought was. What happens? You go to another overtime. The other team gets a chance to get the ball. At least that's what the game did to me.
It's not really another overtime. In other words, you go to overtime, you have a set amount of time. I believe it's like a quarter. If you get the ball and you score a touchdown, the game is over. If you get the ball and you don't score or you kick a field goal, the other team gets an opportunity. Now, if they kick a field goal and you kick a field goal and there's time left, then the game keeps going. But if they stop you and they kick a field goal, then they win.
Well, this is where the game cheated me. So the clock's running down on the overtime period. I'm lined up for 30 plus, maybe a little more, close to a 40-some yard field goal, right? I'm thinking I'm going to win the game. This is when the game kicks in video distortions. What you're seeing. Literally, what happens is normally you go to kick the ball, you have the little meter that goes up, comes down.
Yeah.
You're looking, you can line it up, boom, you kick the ball, right? Well, that whole lineup procedure, when the game wants to cheat you, it fades away. The meter goes up, and then as it's coming down, the meter disappears, and you just have this picture, this wide shot of what's in front of you, and you have to guess where to stop it in order to get an accurate kick. I've actually gotten pretty good at it, but I missed it. And it went to the second period overtime. And we wound up playing again. I win the game running the ball. I get down to a point where it's time to kick the field goal again. But I run this ball right to the 3-yard line, dead center. I'm like, you can cheat me if you want to, but I'm not missing this field goal. I don't care what kind of video shenanigans the game goes through. It's crazy, but yes, I won that game. It was close. It was a tough game, but the Colts are favored in this particular real life matchup. All right. I said,
you don't know how difficult it is for me to not say what I want to say. So what I'm going to say is the Colts are playing pretty well, but Wentz still has his issues. If the 49ers can figure out a way to slow down Jonathan Taylor, I believe that they can win this game. Although the Colts are favored, although the bias is in their favor, I like Shanahan coming off the bye. So I'm going to go with your boys. I'm picking the 49ers.
Do you know the health of Mitchell, running back for the Niners?
Elijah Mitchell should be as close to 100% as he's going to get.
He's the running back that I lean on. So,
yeah.
if he's there, then the Niners run game can work. You know,
Yes, Trey Sermon has been a big disappointment to me.
there's another guy named Cannon on the depth chart who's fast.
Yeah, but they're not giving him a shot.
Not so far, but guess who's my backup now behind Mitchell? It's Cannon. So I'm keeping an eye on those guys. All right, Benny, I hope you're right. I'm rooting for my San Francisco 49ers. Next up, Seattle Seahawks at New Orleans Saints. We talked a lot about both of these teams.
I think Gino's been doing an admirable job. Seattle's defense obviously is not very good. New Orleans has had flashes of being a really good team and being an okay team. But each week, Jameis gets a little bit better, a little bit more familiar with his play callers, the receivers that are out there. Each week, they get a little bit better, get a little bit more confidence. This one's in New Orleans, correct?
Seattle.
Oh, it's in Seattle. Oh,
Monday night, baby. And I didn't mention that San Francisco Colts game is Sunday night.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I had to rewrite that because I put Seahawks first, and I like to keep everything nice and in order when I'm making my notes. But I am going to go with the Seattle Seahawks on this one. Is that what the bias says? Bias is for the Saints. I'm going against the bias. I'm going to go with the Seahawks.
All right, going with the Seahawks on this.
Yeah, big game by Gino. Pretty good game by Alex Collins, who's sitting in for Chris Carson. Lockett's been quiet for the last couple of weeks. I expect him to explode on this one.
Yeah, Gino versus Jameis as your two starting quarterbacks here. And you believe a little more in Gino than Jameis. That's what I'm hearing.
I believe a little bit more in the Seahawks than I do the Saints. I think Gino will play well. He's a backup quarterback. Jameis is a starter.
Defensively, they're both very cool. Wait a minute.
No, Saints are better.
Saints are way better. Saints are better defensively. And the Saints are better offensively. Up to
Not by that much.
Okay. All right. Discounting the success the Saints have had and going with the Seahawks to round out the Bias Plus report for this. And, you know, Benny, we like to congratulate the Bias Plus Buster of the week. For week 6. We're talking about the Tennessee Titans, who had an unfavorable Bias Plus score of 120.
Not surprised.
And won by +3, giving them a Bias Plus Buster score of 123. Congratulations to the Tennessee Titans. And they should be thanking the coaching decisions of the Bills, I think. All right.